Hello everyone, my name is Andrew and I am a cybersecurity analyst. In this video, I wanted to go over how to set up a computer for web application security testing. This will be for a lab environment. This setup will work pretty well if you're doing something like Portsmouth Academy Labs. So I'll be using Burp Suite, and that's a web application pen testing suite that was built by Portsmouth. I'll also be incorporating the Foxy Proxy extension, which allows me to pass my web traffic to Burp Suite through my browser. So I'll be using Firefox, but it'll be a pretty similar process for other browsers like Chrome. So the first thing that we want to do is download Burp Suite. We'll Google Burp Suite, and it'll be this link here for Portsmouth. We'll be using the Community Edition, which is throttled, but it's free. We'll click this download button for Windows and save the exe. We'll run the exe and click through the setup. Default should be alright. Now I do this so that my CRUDs and extensions don't get all mixed up in my regular browser profile. I have kind of a soft segmentation going on here. I created a new profile for my web app testing activities. So it's pretty easy with Firefox. Go to the URL bar and type in About Profiles. Here we see we have our current profile. I'm going to create a new one and name it Web AppSec. Now it'll automatically switch the new one to default. And we don't want that because we'd like to choose when our security profile will be launched. So we'll set our other profile back to default. Now we can launch the profile in a new browser. So we have our standard profile here and our new Web AppSec profile here. If we ever want to launch it again, we can go back to About Profiles. I actually tend to set that to my home page so it's easier to get to. Now go back to the Web AppSec profile and search for Foxy Proxy. It'll be this standard version. Install the extension with the Add to Firefox button. Make sure to allow extension to run in private windows. Let's pin it so we can access it easier. We're going to add a proxy. Click the extension, Options, Proxies, Add. For our title, we're going to go with Burp. For the type, it's going to be HTTP. Hostname is going to be our local host. So we're going to type in 127.0.0.1. And the port we're going to use is 8080. Save. Now we have the ability to turn it on and off by clicking on Foxy Proxy and selecting Burp. Okay, so now our extension filters the traffic through Burp Suite, which defaults to port 8080. So let's go ahead and open up Burp Suite. Temporary project and memory is fine. We'll use Burp defaults and start Burp. So we have one last thing to do before we can get HTTPS to work here. Right now we only have the ability to proxy our HTTP traffic. We want HTTP and HTTPS. Go to the browser with Foxy Proxy, our Web AppSec profile, and select the Burp proxy to turn it on. Now that we have Burp running and our proxy on, we'll navigate to http://Burp Suite. So we have this CA certificate to download and import into our browser, which will allow us to pass that HTTPS traffic. We'll download it and move it into a Burp Suite folder that we can create. Now we'll go back to our browser and go to Settings. We'll search for Certificates, View Certificates, Authorities, Import, navigate to the Burp folder where we stored that certificate. That should do it. If you go to an HTTP site like google.com, we can see it pop in the Burp Suite history. Wonderful. Okay, now we need to modify Burp a little. I don't like the default GUI and how small the text is, plus it's a bit too bright for me. So we'll go to Settings in the top right corner with this gear icon, User Interface, Display, and we'll turn up the font size to 25. Oof, too big. 20. Much better. We'll also change the theme to dark to save our eyes. Now this makes the text bigger everywhere but where we will be spending most of our time. In these HTTP windows here. So this font size is located in a completely different part. we'll go back to settings and we'll go to message editor. And here we have our HTTP message display. Change that to a font and size of your liking. That's much better. Okay, so some basic things that you can do with Burp. So you can send it to a different tool in Burp to do different things. So the two most common tools that you would probably be using in your web app testing adventures is going to be Repeater and Intruder. Repeater allows you to repeat your requests one at a time. You can take a request, send it to Repeater, modify them as you like. Intruder can be set up for a bunch of different things, like automating multiple requests. This includes brute forcing, parameter busting, and just other things that would be a lot easier if you had the ability to automate them with some sort of logic behind it. There's also Decoder, which is great for encoding and decoding. And there is extensions, notably the BAP store, which contains a lot of really useful extensions that help with a number of things while you're doing your web app pen testing. Now you can intercept and manipulate your web requests to your heart's content. I hope you found this helpful. If you found value in this content, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.